40 millionaire returns home at 3 a.m. The shocking truth he never expected. The clock struck 3 a.m. when the lights of a sleek black SUV cut through the thick fog, revealing the quiet streets of Oak Hill. As the vehicle rolled to a stop, the door swung open, and out stepped Brad Collins, the man whose recent victory had everyone talking. $40 million richer, he was a local hero, a boy next door turned millionaire. But what awaited him in the stillness of the night was something utterly unexpected. Brad felt a tingle on his spine, an eerie chill that whispered secrets he couldn't grasp. The air was thick with tension, almost electric, as he approached his grand old house, a place filled with memories. Trees loomed like shadows, their branches reaching out as if to clutch him. He took a deep breath, his heart racing like a runaway train. Something wasn't right. Inside the house, the silence was deafening. Where was everyone? The lights flickered ominously, and shadows danced across the walls. Brad dropped his bag, and it felt like a thunderclap in the ghostly quiet. His stomach twisted as he recalled the cryptic messages he'd been receiving ever since his big win. "They're coming for you," they said. "Trust no one." Panic surged through him like ice water, and he broke out into a cold sweat. Suddenly he heard a low creak from the upstairs, the sound of footsteps. His breath hitched. Was someone really there? He clenched his fists and peered up the staircase, the darkness swallowing the upstairs whole. "Hello?" he called, his voice an uneasy whisper. But no answer came, just the echo of his own fear. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." With his heart pounding, Brad fumbled for his phone, the glaring light seeming like a lifeline in the thick shadows. He stepped toward the staircase, each step feeling like it could be his last. The sound was clearer now, like a whisper calling him, drawing him in. What secrets lay hidden in that darkness? And why did he feel so utterly alone, despite being surrounded by wealth? The answers lurked just out of reach, wrapped in the mystery of the night. Brad's pulse raced as he stepped onto the first stair, the wood creaking under his weight. Each step upward felt like an ascent into a chilling abyss, the darkness engulfing him, thick and unyielding. The whispers grew louder, filling his head with non-coherent murmurings, like a sinister wind wresting secrets from the shadows. "Why isn't anyone here?" he muttered, his voice trembling. His parents should have been home from their late-night shift by now. Were they caught up in the celebration of his win, basking in the afterglow of their son's fortune? Or was it something more sinister? The thought sent a shiver down his spine. The upstairs hall was dim, faintly illuminated by the light seeping through scattered windows, but it felt more oppressive than welcoming. As he reached for the light switch, the flickering bulb sputtered before finally casting a sputtering glow that failed to push back the dark corners of fear lurking in the house. He called out again. Louder this time, "Mom? Dad?" Silence. Only the echo of his own voice reverberated back at him. Swallowed by the void, his gut twisted painfully. Whatever was playing out in his once safe sanctuary seemed far removed from the cheerful world he'd come from just hours earlier. The messages haunted him. Trust no one. Who could he trust? Suddenly, from further down the hall, he heard that sound again, a soft, deliberate creak, this time unmistakably coming from his parents' bedroom. Brad's heart raced wildly. He steeled himself, inhaling deeply, and started toward the door. Just a few feet away he hesitated. The door lay slightly ajar, the crevice revealing darkness that promised answers but was filled with an unsettling dread. "Please, let this be nothing," he whispered. But his hands shook as he nudged the door open. The hinges groaned in protest, and the faint light revealed a chaotic scene that sent shockwaves straight to his core. The room was in disarray. Clothes were strewn across the floor, and the bed covers lay tangled, the signs of a hurried departure or a struggle. Heart in throat, he stepped inside, scanning for signs of life, for the reassuring presence of his family. "Mom?" he called again. There was no response. Just the wind howling softly outside, the only witness to the bone-chilling scene before him. His mind raced with questions. Had someone broken in? Were they in danger? The low thud of something against the wall caught his attention. A dark shape shifted and fell onto the floor, hitting the carpet with a muffled thump. Brad froze, breath hitching in his throat, dread filling him until he could hardly move. Then a whispered voice broke the silence. Help! The plea sliced through the tension, drawing him closer, drawn like a moth to a flame. Was that his mother's voice? Panic nearly immobilized him, but he pushed through the fear, rushing to where the sound emerged from behind the curtains drawn tight against the late hour. As he yanked them aside, what he found hit him like a freight train, the world crashing down around him. His mother lay bound and gagged on the floor, her eyes wide with fear. Brad's world spun as he fought to process what he saw. Before he could react, a chilling laugh echoed behind him. The fragmented terror of a realization caused the blood to drain from his face. Did you really think you could keep the money and have a happy ending? The voice sneered. His throat went dry. The truth was unraveling, and he was at the center of it all. What had happened in his absence? Who was that voice? Just how deep did this darkness run? Every instinct screamed for him to escape, yet he knew he had to confront whatever was lurking in the shadows. The line between safety and danger blurred into chaos, and the clock was ticking. He turned, ready to face the unknown. But what awaited him beyond the door was the last thing he ever expected. As Brad spun around, the darkness cold the edges of the room, and his heartbeat thundered. Out of the shadows stepped a figure cloaked in a black hoodie, the dim light catching the glint of a wicked smile. The intruder's eyes sparkled with menacing delight. Surprised to see me? The voice dripped with mockery, lit by nothing more than a flash of memory that flickered behind Brad's eyes. He had seen this person before during the charity gala, mingling with guests, slinking like a snake among the unsuspecting crowd. What do you want? Brad's voice barely broke the tension, but his tone shifted from fear to defiance. He could see his mother's terrified gaze bounce between him and the intruder, her muffled attempts to speak echoing against the floor. The figure stepped closer, revealing a chiseled jawline partially obscured by a mask. You know exactly why I'm here. It's time to pay up. Brad's mind whirred. The money? Was it always about that? The win he had thought would bask his family in relief. But now, standing stony-faced, he began to connect the dots. You're part of the crew, he muttered, the realization slicing through his shock. Oh, ever so clever. The intruder chuckled, a sound that sent a chill through Brad. But let us not play games. You've got something that belongs to me. The gravity of the situation pressed on him. The thrill of 2 days prior the winning ticket, the long-awaited fortune had morphed into a nightmare. What had seemed like a dream now felt like a noose tightening around his neck. Get away from her. Brad lunged forward, propelled by the blinding need to protect his mother. Just as he reached for the figure, a sharp movement echoed through the room. The intruder swiftly dialed back, but not before stepping toward his mother, leaning down, lips brushing close to her ear. Your little jackpot doesn't just buy happiness, Brad. It brings people knocking and you've left the door wide open. Stop it, he shouted, his voice cracking. The anguish of helplessness surged, raw and potent. He glanced at his mother, who pleaded with her eyes, trying to convey strength amidst fear. Here's what's going to happen. The intruder's tone shifted, cold and calculated. You're going to hand over that ticket, and I'll let her go. Or he leaned in closer. We do this the hard way. Brad's determination morphed into a reckless instinct. I won't give you anything. The defiance poured out of him, yet deep down, his heart raced with anxiety. Very well. Let us play. With a swift motion, the figure reached into his jacket. Brad's breath caught as he feared for an unseen weapon, but instead produced a smartphone. I can change that, quick and easy. One call. One message, the intruder hissed, his finger hovering above the screen. Just a reminder that trust is fickle in a world overrun by greed. Before Brad could react, the phone buzzed ominously, breaking the stillness of the room like a bomb. The intruder grinned, revealing a glimpse of their true self. So who should I call? Your parents? Your friends? Or should we send your beloved mom back into a world of endless pain? The words clawed at Brad's insides. Panic turned to fury. Everything spiraled out of control and he couldn't let this happen. You think I'll just give up? The laugh that followed sent shivers through him. Oh my friend, I'm counting on it. Because you're not just facing me. With that, the door flung open behind him, revealing another figure, a shadowy silhouette carrying more than just darkness. What do you want? Brad shouted, his voice a shattered echo through time and purpose. The stakes had escalated frighteningly, and the flicker of hope dimmed to almost nothing. Time unfurled slowly, breaths shallow, desperation clawing at him. As the second figure stepped into the dim light, Brad's pulse raced, the unbearable thought surfacing. Was the worst still yet to come? He braced himself, knowing he had to act fast. The moment of choice was creeping in, but was he ready for the inevitable fall? The door swung wide, and the shadows spilled into the room, morphing into a chilling figure with movements smooth as ice. This newcomer, dressed in a leather jacket, stepped forward, eyes piercing straight through Brad like twin blades. The glint of a Glock peeked from beneath the coat, and adrenaline surged through Brad's veins. Nice little family reunion you've got going here, the stranger sneered, his voice a raspy blend of mirth and malice. But I'm afraid the party's just getting started. Who are you? Brad's voice trembled, caught between anger and terror. He glanced at his mother, who shook her head slowly, her eyes wide with fear. I wouldn't bother asking too many questions, kid. The first intruder adjusted the phone in his hand, the glimmering screen a threat in the dim light. This is about a certain ticket you seem to have. That ticket belongs to me. Brad spat back, determination swelling despite the panic shivering in his core. You'll never get it. Is that so? The newcomer stepped closer, taking advantage of Brad's momentary lapse. How about I slice the stakes? You give me the ticket, and I'll let your precious mom walk out of here unharmed. Simple as that. Stay the hell away from her. Brad screamed, his hands clenched into fists, knuckles white. You'll have to go through me first. The intruder stepped back, a slow, unsettling smile creeping across his face. Well, that's the spirit. But you might want to think that over. We don't really have time for these heroic fantasies. The phone buzzed again, a sharp reminder, and the first intruder's gaze shifted between them with unmistakable glee. It was a game to him, one tainted with sinister rules. You think you're tough, huh? But here's the kicker, you don't know what's coming. What do you mean? Brad demanded. Every nerve in his body was electric, a fight against the oppressive weight of despair. Let's just say that greed attracts certain elements. The second figure stepped deeper into the light, bringing with him a smell of danger that made the hairs on Brad's arms stand. And the city's filled with those who crave your newfound fortune. Brad's mind raced, whole scenarios flickering like a faulty light. Multiple threats? Were these two working together, or was there something worse waiting behind their taunts? Why should I trust you? He questioned. The resolve was hardening, but doubt danced perilously close on its edges. You think you can scare me into giving you the ticket? The ticket holds power, Brad. The first intruder's voice softened suddenly, dripping temptation. Power you can't even fathom yet. This isn't a warning. It's an opportunity. An opportunity? Brad scoffed. Opportunity to ruin my family? You don't scare me. Oh, but we're just getting started, kid. The second figure stepped even closer now, their breath cold against Brad's skin. See, it's not just about the ticket. It's about what happens if you don't play along. What do you mean? Brad tried to keep his voice steady, but uncertainty gnawed at him. Just then the phone chimed again, a deafeningly loud sound that cut through the air. Dialing, the intruder said, and fear crashed like an ocean wave in Brad's chest. The intruder's finger hovered over the screen as if caught in a twisted game of fate, poised to cross an unthinkable line. Who are you calling? Brad's eyes widened, heart racing. What's your game? With a sharp grin that twisted Brad's insides, the intruder replied, Let's just say it's someone who'll make your life a whole lot more interesting or painful. The panic rendering him paralyzed, Brad realized he was standing at the precipice of choices that could shatter everything. Before he could form a plan, the second figure's hand moved, ready to press send. Time slowed. Each second stretched thin as Brad's thoughts raced. Was he prepared to face the consequences of whatever their call might unleash? What happens now? Brad's voice cracked nearly imperceptibly, caught in a web too tangled to escape. Now it's time to up the stakes. With that, the screen lit up, and Brad's world tilted further into chaos. The phone screen blared to life, a sinister light illuminating the room. Brad's heart thundered, each beat a warning of the impending disaster. "Don't do it," he shouted, but the second figure smirked, his thumb resting atop the glowing screen. "Don't worry, kid. Just a little chat," he said, voice dripping with mock reassurance. The air thickened, and an unearthly silence fell. For a moment time itself seemed to hang suspended by dread. Brad's eyes darted between the intruders, searching for an opening, a weakness. He couldn't let them call whoever it was. Not now. Not when his mom's safety was on the line. Just as the figure's finger descended, the phone rang out with a shrill tone that cut through the stifling atmosphere. The second figure held the phone to his ear, his grin widening as he spoke. "Hello? Yeah, it's me." The voice dripping from the phone's speaker was twisted, gravelly, like a knife scraping stone. Brad's stomach churned, realization settling in with icy fingers. Whoever was on the other end, they were not just a simple player. They were the puppet master pulling strings he couldn't see. "Everything's going according to plan," the intruder said, eyes glinting in the low light. "I have the ticket." Brad clenched his fists tighter, his nails biting into the skin. "What do you want with it?" he screamed, anger flaring. "You have no idea what you're messing with." On the contrary, the figure said, a sharp edge to his voice. "We know exactly what we're after. This ticket could change everything. You're just a pawn in a game far beyond your understanding." Panic clawed up Brad's throat. "You're wrong. This is my family's life you're threatening." "Isn't it fascinating how everything hinges on a single chance?" The intruder shot back, an unsettling gleam in his eyes as he glanced back at the phone. "Just get to the point." Brad's voice wavered, a mix of rage and terror spiraling. "Sure thing." With a twisted satisfaction, the intruder continued, "We're going to make your little family reunion much more interesting. A special guest is on their way, but they won't be arriving empty-handed." His grip on the phone tightened, and with a cruel laugh he added, "You'll be seeing just how much your ticket is worth whether you want to or not." A crackle sounded from the phone as static buzzed ominously, and it jolted Brad awake from his momentary stupor. "What did you do?" he yelled, trying to shake the surreal fog that wrapped around him. The implications of the call threatened to suffocate him. "Don't worry. We're all friends here," the second figure replied mockingly. "But you might want to keep your family close. After all, they'll be the ones at risk if you don't play your cards right." "Why are you doing this?" Desperation seeped into Brad's voice, choking him. "What do you get out of it?" "This isn't just about you, kid," the stranger said, his tone dark and conspiratorial. "There are bigger powers at play here. You have no idea how far we're willing to go to take control of this game. All because you stumbled into something that's too big for you. You're insane." Brad shouted, heart racing faster than ever. "You think this will end well for you?" The second figure leaned back, crossing his arms, that maddening grin still plastered across his face. "See, that's the beauty of it. I don't have to worry about the ending, I just have to make sure you do." Brad's mind whirled, flooded with options and consequences. The clock was ticking, and the weight of responsibility pressed down on him like lead. "You think you can scare me into submission?" "Oh, we're not just trying to scare you, kid," the first intruder said, a flash of something darker crossing his features. "We want to see how far you'll bend before you break." Suddenly, the front door swung open, a gust of wind crashing through the room. The shadows lengthened as a tall silhouette stepped in, cloaked in darkness. Brad froze, dread pooling in his stomach. "Looks like the special guest has arrived." Panic surged as he realized he was no longer alone, and whatever threat approached now was a whole new level of terror. What was waiting for him on the other side of that door? Could he still protect his mother, or was the true nightmare just beginning? The door creaked open wider, revealing a figure shrouded in shadow. Brad's heart raced like a wild horse, thundering against his ribcage. He strained to see, but the dim light cast only an outline, a silhouette that felt both familiar and utterly foreign. Who are you?" Brad's voice cracked, betraying his fear. The figure stepped forward, a stark line of light revealing the glimmering eyes of a woman. She wore a long dark coat that seemed to ripple around her, and in her hand, she gripped a glistening object, a knife, its blade reflecting the eerie light of the room. "Thinking you could protect your family, huh?" Her voice was low, almost musical, but it carried a deadly edge. Cute. But you've walked into a storm. The air shifted, thickening with tension. The first intruder's expression morphed from smug delight to irritation. Back off, Evelyn. Yes, mine to play with. Evelyn raised an eyebrow, then laughed. A sharp sound that pierced through the heavy silence. Is that so? You think this is your game? Just remember, she pointed the knife toward Brad. That ticket you're hoarding? Comes with consequences. Brad's mind raced. This was no time to buckle. He had to figure this out. What do you want from me? Just tell me. His desperation echoed off the walls, and the words fell limp in the charged atmosphere. Information, she replied, stepping closer, the blade catching glimmers of light like an unwelcome star. You have something we need. Something that can tip the scales in our favor. The ticket isn't just for a show. Kid, it's your life's chaos wrapped in paper. Stop. Brad felt a surge of anger. No more games. You can't just threaten. No, can't I? She interrupted, eyes narrowing. I've played real-life games before. It's incredible what a knife can do when emotions are running high. He willed himself to stay strong, forcing himself to stand tall. You're wrong about me. You think I'm just a kid caught in your trap, but I will fight. Evelyn's laugh cut him off again, this time colder. Sweetheart, this isn't about fighting. It's about survival. Get it twisted? You'll lose everything before you even realize you're losing. The first intruder finally broke in, his annoyance boiling over. You're wasting time. We just need the ticket. He stepped forward, but Evelyn held her ground. No, we need more than that. He bluffed his way through this, but what lies beneath that bravado? It's time to uncover. They were circling him now like sharks, and dread coiled tighter in Brad's stomach. What were they really after? The air grew heavier, and he felt the claustrophobia of their intentions closing in. There had to be a way out, a chance to protect his mom. But chaos lurked at every corner. Laughter danced in the shadows, echoing as whispers of deeper darkness edged closer. The phone still buzzed ominously on the table, a steady reminder of the unseen puppeteer, lurking and controlling them all. Let us make this interesting, shall we? Evelyn smiled wickedly. How about a trade? Your family's fate for your freedom. Want to play? His mind raced. No. Brad couldn't let them think they had the upper hand. No deal. I'll never surrender my family. Each word came out like fire, burning with determination. But just then the phone rang again, its shrill sound cutting through their dangerous game. All eyes turned to it, and in that moment of distraction, Brad's heart pounded with a frantic rhythm. What if answering unlocked something horrible? Or worse, what if it was a call for help? Answer it. The second intruder demanded, breaking the silence, and Brad felt every impulse scream against it. Could this be the moment that turns the tide? Or an unraveling thread that would pull everything apart? All eyes were on him. What would he do next? Brad's fingers trembled as they hovered over the phone. The ringing pierced through the suffocating tension, each chime resonating in his ears like a warning siren. Was it a lifeline or a noose? He drew a shaky breath, feeling the weight of the decision pressing on his chest. Do it, Brad. The second intruder urged, eyes glinting with malicious excitement. Pick it up. Let us see what kind of surprise you're hiding. Evelyn shifted slightly, the knife still poised, its edge glistening dangerously. Trust your instincts, she whispered, her voice low and hypnotic. Or do you prefer to watch your family suffer? The threat hung heavily in the air, and for a moment time stood still. Brad felt the eyes of the two figures bore into him, their hopes for chaos hanging on his response. With a surge of determination he grabbed the receiver, the cool plastic sending chills through his hands. Hello? He said, trying to mask the tremor in his voice. Silence. Just as he was about to hang up, a voice crackled through, rough and distorted. Brad. Is that you? Who is this? Panic snapped in his belly. He could hear muffled sounds in the background, cries, shouting. We don't have much time, the voice insisted, urgency pouring out like red-hot lava. I know where you are. The ticket, those people are dangerous. Don't trust them. What do you mean? Brad stammered, backing up until he felt the wall against his back. Who are you? Just believe me. You need to run. They don't just want the ticket. They want you. You're in over your head. Before he could say more, The voice faded into a series of garbled static. Panic rose like bile, and he felt stranded in a sea of uncertainty. What was that? Evelyn demanded, stepping closer, rage simmering beneath her calm facade. Who were you talking to? The truth is not your friend. The first intruder bellowed, frustration weaving into his tone as he lunged forward. I'll take that phone. Instinct kicked in. Brad yanked it away, pressing it to his ear as if it offered some form of protection. Get away from me, he shouted, adrenaline surging through his veins. Stay back. But Evelyn laughed again, the sound sick and twisted, echoing off the walls. What if there's nothing to run to? What if all you have is me and my knife? Think carefully, sweetling. You don't want to make me angry. The blade glinted ominously as she took another step closer, her intentions clear in her predatory gaze. With every inch closer she got, Brad's resolve melted. What the voice had warned about echoed in his mind. Could he trust it? Could he trust anything now? Enough. The first intruder shouted, frustration boiling over. We don't need this. Before Brad could respond, the phone slipped from his grasp, the sound of the line going dead ringing in his ears as it clattered against the floor. The tension broke like a wave crashing against the shore, and all three figures froze, inhabitants of a charged electric moment, their breaths held tight. Brad's heart raced, his pulse pounding in his ears louder than the chaos around him. I don't have the ticket, he blurted, scrambling for a thread of control, desperate and unsure. I'll get it. Just give me a second. Too late, Evelyn hissed, a glint of cold calculation in her eyes. Now we'll have to get creative. Just then, the back door creaked open further, a chilling gust of wind sweeping through, filling the room with an eerie whisper. Do you hear that? Brad's voice trembled as he turned toward the sound, every instinct screaming at him to escape. Get ready. The second intruder grinned menacingly, following his gaze. Game S about to change. Brad's breath quickened as shadows lurked in the doorway, an incoming tide of uncertainty, dark figures creeping into clearer view. The night was pregnant with danger, and he had to make a choice. Would he stand his ground or flee into the abyss of the night? The choice was coming sooner than he thought, and he had no clue what would await him in the dark. What was ready to emerge? The shadows thickened, and Brad's heart raced faster than the creeping figures. Each second felt like an eternity, the air crackling with an electricity that set every nerve on edge. Who's there? He demanded, voice quivering as he backed further into the wall. The two intruders exchanged uneasy glances. Don't play games, Brad, Evelyn snapped, brandishing her knife, the blade throwing cold reflections in the dim light. This is your last chance to tell us where the ticket is, or I swear. The door creaked open wider, casting a surreal brightness into the room. A silhouette emerged, tall and imposing, shrouded in darkness. Brad squinted, heart pounding in his throat. Each rapid beat was punctuated by a gnawing dread of the unknown. Drop the knife, Evelyn. This ends now, the figure commanded, voice low and authoritative. Brad's breath caught in his throat as he recognized the tone. It belonged to someone he never thought he'd see again. Jason, he whispered, disbelief twisting in his stomach. The night had swallowed them whole, and here stood Jason, his childhood friend. Yet, the absence of the familiar bond twisted into something sinister. He didn't look the same. The hard lines of his face were etched with shadows, eyes sharp and calculating beneath a brow knitted in concern. What the hell are you doing here? Brad's question came out as a strangled gasp. I came to help you, Jason replied, stepping further into the room, the light revealing tension in his jaw. But it seems you've gotten mixed up in something far worse than I expected. Evelyn shifted, her grip tightening on the knife. Stay out of this, buddy. You don't know what you're messing with. Trust me, I know enough, Jason shot back, not breaking eye contact with Brad. They're not just after a piece of paper. They want everything you are. Brad felt his resolve slipping, a torrent of confusion swirling inside him. What do you mean? What's going on? Why are they after me? I never asked for any of this. A flicker of compassion crossed Jason's face, but it vanished as quickly as it came. There's no time to explain. We have to move. Right now. I'm not leaving without my family, Brad yelled, anger fueling him, hoping it could stave off the encroaching fear. He looked at each intruder, desperately weighing his options. Your family is already in danger, Jason said, urgency sharpening his voice. and staying here will only make it worse. Suddenly, the second intruder lunged forward, and Jason whipped out a concealed weapon shiny and lethal. The sight made Brad's blood run cold. "You're in way over your head," Jason spat, aiming the gun now at Evelyn, who wavered but quickly regained her composure. "Do you think you have power here?" she hissed, a smirk breaking across her pale face. "You think a gun shifts the balance?" In that split second, the ice-cold realization hit Brad. This wasn't just a game. They were playing for keeps. "Jason, stop!" he yelled, but his voice was drowned out by the tension in the room. The air was thick with silent stakes. "Drop the knife, Evelyn," Jason thundered, grounding his feet, his own grip firm and steady. The balance shifted. The sense of reality crumbled like a house of cards. Brad felt like he was standing on a precipice, teetering between chaos and safety, unsure of his next move. A sudden crash echoed in the darkness, and the room erupted with noise as another figure rushed in the shadow of the truth, unraveling further. "Brad!" The voice called out, desperation mixed with an oddly familiar ring that threw him into further confusion. Just who was coming for him now? And in this moment of fear and desperation, was there even a chance to save what remained of his life? With uncertainty looming, Brad faced a choice: deception or loyalty. And every decision carved a new path into the chaotic night. The new arrivals slammed the door behind them, causing the already tense air to shudder. A flash of light revealed a disheveled figure, wild-eyed and panting. It was Lisa, Brad's younger sister. "Brad, you have to get out. They're looking for you," she cried, breathless and frantic, her gaze darting to the standoff between Jason and Evelyn. "Lisa, stay back," Brad shouted, instinctively stepping in front of her. Panic swelled in his chest. Seeing her here in danger turned the dread into a roaring wave. "Jason, what is going on?" Lisa's voice quivered with confusion. "You came back to help? But they're just stay quiet," Jason snapped, his focus never wavering from Evelyn, who eyed the newcomer, calculating and dangerous. "It's just a ticket, right?" Lisa blurted out, oblivious to the tension. "We shouldn't be fighting over enough," Evelyn barked, the knife glinting ominously. "This little family reunion isn't going to end well for you if you don't tell me where the ticket is." Brad's heart pounded like a drum in his ears. "Evelyn, listen. Before any of this we were friends. You don't have to do this. We can work it out." Her smirk faded slightly, and for a moment, he thought he saw a flicker of humanity behind her cold eyes. But it was gone just as quickly. "You don't get it. This isn't personal. It's business. Then I'll cut a deal with you." Brad tried. "Just let my family go. Take me instead." Jason shook his head, his voice barely a whisper. "Don't negotiate with her. They're not here to make deals, Brad. They're here to eliminate the threat you pose." The silence threatened to break into chaos as the tension thickened, a dangerous energy sparking between all four of them. Suddenly, Evelyn lunged, knife gleaming as she tried to get past Jason. In a split second he shot, a sudden deafening bang that echoed through the small room. Brad flinched, a primal fear making his breath catch. Evelyn staggered but didn't go down. "You think that hurts?" she taunted, blood trailing down her arm. "You must be joking. Why won't you just listen?" Jason yelled, frustration boiling over as he stepped forward, not willing to back down. "Stop," Brad shouted, moving to intervene. "This has to end." Before he could finish, the blast of sirens wailed from nearby. The sound sliced through the air, loud and ominous, sending a chill down Brad's spine. "They're here," Lisa whispered, eyes wide with fear. "Go. Get out of here," Brad yelled, pushing Lisa toward the door. "I can hold them off." "No," Jason shouted, suddenly turning his focus back to Brad. "You don't have time to argue. If the cops arrive, we'll all be dead." Evelyn laughed, a hollow sound that echoed in the shadowy room. "Let them come. I'd love to see how you explain this." The chaotic scene spiraled in every direction. Uncertainty gnawed at Brad. He could feel the walls closing in around him, as tragedy loomed close. Escape felt impossibly out of reach, a mirage shimmering in their desperate surroundings. "Brad, we need to make a choice. Now," Jason insisted, his voice urgent, demanding. "Yeah, but what if I choose wrong?" Brad replied, the weight of his family's safety pressing heavily on him. Just then, another figure burst through the door, this one dressed in black, face hidden beneath a mask. Get down. The newcomer barked as chaos erupted. Brad hit the floor, heart pounding, mind racing, thrust deeper into a nightmare he never wanted. What did this masked figure want? Could they be a friend or yet another foe? As darkness swirled around him, a question burned brighter than the fear, slicing through the chaos. Would Brad ever escape the tangled web that threatened to ensnare them all? Chaos erupted in the room, the sound of sirens piercing through the tension as each second drew them closer to an impending doom. Brad's heart raced, pounding in his chest like a siren of its own, urging him to act fast. He had to get Lisa, his mother, and himself out of this mess. The rushed moments felt more like an eternity, and all voices faded into a muffled blur. Get down! The newcomer shouted, holding a weapon steady, and the atmosphere crackled like a high-voltage line. Brad dropped to the ground instinctively, desperate for answers. Jason followed suit, lowering his weapon toward the new figure with cautious intensity. Evelyn, wild and unfazed, brandished her knife. You've disrupted our game. Who the hell are you? She snarled, rage boiling in her veins. Enough of this, the masked figure said, voice masked by authority. He stepped forward, his tone confident, almost commanding. This is over. You're all going to listen to me. Shock swept through the room, and for a moment silence ruled. Each face reflected confusion, fear, and an inkling of hope. Despite the urgency, there was an undeniable weight in the newcomer's presence. Who sent you? Brad glanced at Jason, then shifted nervously back to the masked figure. He needed to know if this could be another threat or a potential lifeline. The ones you thought you could escape, the figure replied, lowering his hood to reveal a familiar face. It was Jacob, a former ally and a stranger to dark times. They're coming for you and you don't have much time. Evelyn scoffed, far from intimidated. Oh please, you think you can just waltz in here and take charge? This is our game now. The knife gleamed with menace as she took a step forward, but Jacob's focus remained on Brad. They are trading your life for that ticket, Brad, Jacob urged. We have to take the fight to them before it's too late. His expression softened, reminding Brad of long-lost trust. Look, I know this is all messed up, but you need to believe me. They're after what you possess because it opens doors to a world of power. Power. The absurdity of it all ignited something in Brad's spirit, fighting back as fiercely as the fear clawed at him. You think I want anything from this nightmare? Just let my family go. Then we have to act, Jacob declared, voice echoing off the walls, breaking through the fear. They won't stop until they have everything. But we can turn this around. The sirens shrieked louder, shaking the foundation of the moment. Brad's instincts screamed at him. We need a plan quickly. He glanced at Lisa and Jason, weighing the urgency. I'll keep them distracted, Jacob suggested, adrenaline coursing. The cops will be here any minute. I can draw out the chaos, confuse them as they come in, and get you to safety. No, I want to leave you, Lisa interjected, fear coloring her voice. This isn't fair. It's the only way, Jacob insisted, determination flashing in his eyes. I'm not losing anyone else to them. Together we can end this madness. Quick, get the back door. Before Brad could protest, Jacob lunged toward Evelyn, spurring an immediate confrontation. The two figures clashed as Brad dragged Lisa aside toward the exit, heart pounding with urgency. The chaos erupted into the air, fists flying and knives glinting, all while Brad's mind raced. Focus, protect, endure, come on, he shouted, grabbing Lisa's hand and pulling her close. We're getting out. As they sprinted toward the back door, shots erupted quick and controlled. The noise pierced through the surround chaos, amplified by the shrieks of confusion from the other two intruders as they fought for control. Evelyn lunged at Jacob, but he countered with a low jab that knocked the knife from her grip, sending it sliding across the floor. Get out now, Jacob called out, eyes blazing with resolve, pushing Brad and Lisa toward the door. They barreled into the night, the streetlights flickering above, thrilling with the edge of another striking moment. Warm air rushed over them, wrapping around their bodies like a cape as they burst out into the world outside. Where do we go? Lisa asked, panting with fear and hope. Anywhere but here, Brad shouted, scanning the streets for somewhere to hide. He hadn't realized before how close the sirens had been until the blue light splashed against the closest building. We need to find shelter, he muttered, urgency clawing at him once again. As they sprinted down the street, the chaos left behind hung in the air like an ever-present weight, tethering them to the turmoil and uncertainty of their future. But the bond of family remained. "We'll find a way," he promised, tears threatening to ignite. Eventually they found refuge behind an abandoned shop, hushed breathing enveloping them. Heartbeats echoed louder now, their earlier fears momentarily tucked away. "Brad, what if they come after us?" Lisa whispered, eyes wide with worry. He glanced at her, realizing how vulnerable they all felt. "They won, T. We have each other and we'll figure this out." Just then a loud crash pierced the night, jolting them back to reality. The fight wasn't over. Their journey continued. They still had to deal with Evelyn and the dark reality that loomed over their lives. "I promise we'll get through this," Brad vowed, his heart pounding but filled with a flicker of determination. Together. And together they would fight, take every step forward, weaving through the chaos, trusting that the strength of their bond could be the key to reclaiming their lives, no matter what lay ahead. But as shadows lingered, the world beyond their refuge was painted with uncertainty, urging them to brace for whatever darkness would come next. As the dawn broke, signaling a new beginning, Brad knew they had a fight to finish, and this time he would be ready. And so that's it, friends. That's the end of our gripping tale. But wait. Before you go, I need you to act now. You need to subscribe to the channel immediately, so you don't miss our next exclusive stories. Smash that like button to power the algorithm, and show your support for the channel. Flood the comments below with your reactions and theories about this wild conclusion. What are your thoughts on Brad's journey? And before you even think about closing this window, I demand you share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second, show your love and support.